All right. It looks like we are live right now on the air. So let's check and see here what's going on. Still says waiting on the YouTube side here. Oh, there we go. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Okay, guys. So this is Caliber Corner number 4. I want to thank you guys for joining me today. Out in the chats, we got AC97 hanging out with us. Good morning, AC. Yeah, we're just a minute late here, but we're getting everybody brought in. And today we're going to discuss optics, budget price, expensive, inexpensive. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and let the panel introduce itself. So, AWAG, you want to go ahead and get started and let us know maybe about your channel and what you're up to right now, what you're doing?
Hey, I'm obviously AWAG. Well, my channel is mostly about guns and mostly about my cars as well. Some foolishness around in there as well. Just I have 2 channels. The one that looks like my icon is my current one. I lost the password to my other one, so you can subscribe there if you want. So,
Very
that's all
cool.
I
Very
got.
cool.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, no, and I mean one of the reasons why we're doing this discussion, you had mentioned that topic last week. You said, "Hey, let's do one on optics, man. Let's talk about optics and see what's cool and what works." And sounds good. Nice strike. You wanna go ahead and say a few things? You want to get a plug in? Say hi to the audience out there viewing right now.
I'm not sure I do.
All right.
No. Hold on. Anyways,
Yeah, man.
check out Hit or Miss Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock, and check out Caliber Corner every Saturday morning at 9 a.m.
Well, we will have a few Saturdays off here coming up. I've got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of things with family that's coming up here in the future. But oh, yeah, there we go. AC just made a comment in there. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about our experiences with those budget priced optics. So yes, do check out Hit or Miss. I'll do Caliber Corner when I can. Love doing Hit or Miss on Tuesdays with you, Nice Strike. Tony, you want to say a few words? Get a plug in. You wanna go ahead and say a few things? What's going on, man?
Good morning, people. This is the Groucho fucker from the Early Watch. If you don't know me, you missing much.
Now, Tony says he knows his inexpensive optics, and I am sitting in the same boat as Tony on that. And I'll kind of talk about my experiences with optics here in just a little bit. We're going to talk about dot sights and magnified glass, a little bit of everything. So, all right, so let's just jump right into it. So, any of you guys can feel free to chime in at any time here. Let's just talk about this. You know, when you go out and you're looking at buying some sort of optic, a scope. Ammo Cat, by the way, is with us. She's my biggest fan. But when you guys go out and you're looking at buying scopes or red dots, reflex sights, and so on, what do you gain? I'm going to play devil's advocate here. What do you gain by spending a lot of money on an optic? Let's say we're looking at 2 scopes, and they are the same magnification level, the same size lenses, and so on. What exactly do you have to gain by going with higher price glass?
Clarity.
Better glass is about the biggest gain.
But if we can both see the same target at 200 or 300 yards, what's the real advantage? I mean, do you think maybe is it a build quality issue? Is it an ability to hold zero better? Is it maybe better mounting hardware? What is it? What's the advantage? Because I want to be convinced why I should spend a lot of money on optics. Because short of my Vortex Strikefire 2, any optic red dot I've ever bought, any scope I've ever bought, it's either been off the shelf at Walmart or it's come on my firearm that I purchased when I got the gun, which they're usually Bushnell, Tasco, and so on. Or they've just been, inexpensive sights and stuff. So what is the advantage?
You also have that case of where you buy an expensive red dot sight or ACOG or whatnot, and then it doesn't hold zero like it was promised, and then you have a situation like EOTech. So you can spend $500 or $600 on a red dot or an ACOG and whatnot, and still get a piece of shit.
First thing I got to chime in and say I have never really bought expensive scopes because I haven't been convinced that they were worth it.
Tony, for all around general hunting, say you're going to take a deer at 300 yards or less, do you really need expensive? And don't get me wrong, I've used not owned, but I've used expensive glass, and it's amazing. But I don't really see the advantage, crosshairs are crosshairs. You can see the target. You can see the target. Can you justify paying double, triple, quadruple um, what you could spend and get something comparable for less?
I have not had a really bad lower end scope, with the exception of some stuff that comes on packages.
Yeah.
I mean, like these rifle packages, the scopes they put on them are just garbage.
Yeah, they're going to give you just kind of that standard to get it out the door and convince you that that's the way you want to go. Now I will say though, I have a Remington 710 that still has the original scope that came on it, and I think that gun was made in the early 2000s. Just a seven, I know it's a 710. It's a 243, and that scope is fine. I mean, that's been the only optic that's been on the gun since it was new. But that's also an older time when maybe they put a little more quality into the lower end package scopes than what you get now. Because yeah, now you're going to get a $50 optic on there that they're going to try to sell as a package deal. But yeah, what is the actual advantage? What do you guys think?
Well, it depends on
Is
what
there?
you want to do.
Okay.
Here, I'm gonna turn on my
Yeah, and
camera
AWAG, I want
so-
you to share what you purchased because you're getting what I consider a high quality, really, really good scope set that you have on your firearms, and you haven't had to break the bank on it. And really, honestly, it's a brand that I hadn't really heard of or looked at until you had showed it off in some of your videos.
Well,
Because to me, yeah, go ahead.
with me being well, I like doing long range target shooting.
Okay.
I need a scope that has top adjustments, unlike the Nikon Pro Staff that I have here. You have to take these caps off to get to the adjustments. Now, I
Yeah.
do like the adjustment system on these, and they're pretty well thought out and pretty robust. But with the SWFA scopes that I have, I like them so much that I actually bought two. Um, the price point of these are about $300, maybe a little more for shipping depending on where you are. But with this, you can hear like pretty audible clicks. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah.
guys can hear that. They're pretty
You're taking your
audible.
gun out of zero, man. Don't do that. No, I'm just kidding.
But they have the indicators on it, and what you can actually do with this is, unlike any other scope, is that there's set screws all the way around it, and when you loosen them, you can physically like slip it so that the lines match up perfectly to where you want them to match up, instead of having like a ratchet system on the Pro Staff where
Mhm.
I can get this cap off. I'll show you. Basically, you just pull this up, and it's like little notches that fit into everything.
Right.
So,
Which it works, but it is kind of inconvenient when you're at the range, especially when you're trying to fine tune your zero, or you need to make some adjustments on the fly to have to pull the caps off, find a little screwdriver, and click it the right number versus having the caps right there that you can just manually turn, with the little locking knob. What kind of experiences have you had with that? Now, how many of those what is the brand again that you use? S.
it's the SWFA, and it should be SS, and they have a whole different range of scopes. They all pretty much look the same, but these scopes were, I think, early 90s military contract scopes
Oh,
that they
okay,
used
okay,
on the M40s. They used a fixed 10 power,
okay.
and the reticle on these it's very fine, and you can fine tune adjust the basically you can fine tune adjust everything about the scope. It's pretty good optics clarity, and the reticle isn't a traditional crosshair. It like breaks up, and it has like little hash marks in it. And the center of it is actually a dot that's separated from a broken up crosshair. It's actually pretty ingenious.
Would definitely make it easy for you to see where your bullseye is.
Hmm.
Okay, okay.
With my Savage, with this fixed 6 power, I use at 100 yards. I can actually pop 22 long rifle casings at 100 yards with this rifle, and it's quite satisfying.
What kind of grouping are you able to pull off with the higher power rifles with that particular scope on there? What are you able
With
to pull off? Yeah.
with the fixed 6 power,
Mm.
I could probably pull off like half the quarter MOA at 100 yards.
Wow. So
Now,
that's a
if I
nice
had to,
alternative. Yeah.
yeah, the fixed 10 power will definitely give you more zoom, but from my experience, I think it actually makes the center dot a little bit bigger, so your groups might widen up depending on your skill set and what rifle you have and
Yeah,
what
yeah.
ammo you're using.
Oh yeah. And that's, I mean, it is definitely not, I hadn't really heard of that brand until I was watching some of your videos on it, until you were sharing information with me, because I'm so used to the box store brands or the brands that you see when you go to your local, Cabela's or Bass Pro Shops. You tend to see a lot of the same ones. So you do gain a little bit when you spend more. How about the mounting hardware that they use there? Do they come with
Um,
the rings and the mounts and everything
no,
that you need?
they don't come
Okay.
with the rings. The rings that I use are Burris Extreme Tactical 30 millimeter rings.
Okay.
And another thing about the scopes is that they're not made in China, they're not made in the Philippines, they're actually made in Japan.
Hmm.
If I can probably zoom in on this, you could probably see it.
And I
Is
wonder
it?
if they make optics for other, production lines like cameras possibly, because I know you still get a lot of higher quality lenses that come from Japan and Asia in general.
Yeah, from my knowledge, from my research, I think the glass that they use is used in
Nikons.
Say Nikon or
not
Canon or
yeah, can I think it's Canon that they use the glass in. But they SWFA also has the high density aprochromatically corrected glass series as well, but that's like a $2,000 scope.
yeah, yeah, gotcha. And so those work for you, but again, you are able to make it work. You're able to do your shooting with with relatively budget priced optics, and so it does the job. So yeah, you just said it right there. Once you go up in the price point, then there are some features that you're going to get, which would be an advantage to somebody doing that precision long rifle shooting, long distance shooting. Whereas your general hunter could probably get by with just with something like what you're using and not have any issues at all.
Hmm.
Cool, cool. Nice, Rick. What about you? What are your experiences with optics?
Uh,
Magnified, non? What's
well, I've got that nice red dot you gave me.
Oh, we'll talk about that. And you know what? I happen to have it right here.
Well, I've got mine on my rifle in my
There you
safe.
go. This one I need to mount it and start using it again because yeah.
I got that one. That one's nice. But I've got a couple fire fields. Just because I got them at Walmart because
Yeah.
they were on clearance for like $30.
Yeah.
So I got a couple of those. I got one of those on my AR. I've got another one on just I think I've got it on the a 308 right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get over my first cup of coffee this morning.
No, don't worry about it, man.
So, yeah, that's what I've got right now. I don't have any other optics other than that because there's just I'm really looking for a nice mil dot, but the problem is that the nice mil dots are expensive, and I am a budget minded individual where
Oh,
I
yeah.
am limited to a certain amount of money, period, at any given time. And the issue is I understand why they say that you should spend a lot of money on a good optic, but I am also stuck at the point where I'm opposed to spending any more money on an optic than your rifle cost because it doesn't seem to me it doesn't seem a good idea to spend like $1,000 on a scope, whereas you only paid like $300 or $400 for the rifle.
Can
Well,
I
see,
interject here for a second?
go ahead, Tony. Yeah.
Let's put it out there that this really hinges on what you're doing with the optic. If you're shooting 1,000 yards for competitions, then yes, spend the money. If you're hunting at 100, 150 yard ranges, it really don't have to be that good.
Or if you can simply afford the more expensive glass, enjoy. It's something you could, but it's not. Is it really something that's necessary? But now you got to remember, a lot of these higher end companies too. They also offer some entry level models. I know Loopold makes a $200 scope that you can get that has a lot of the same features as their higher end. It's got nice clear glass. It's made in the USA. So I think a lot of people, they just maybe assume that some of those higher end brands don't make anything that's more affordable. And if you look around, you can find those things.
Well,
Um,
Night Strike, what are you looking to do? Because SWFA has they have a bunch of different types of scopes. They even have the ones that I have are minute of angle adjustments and the minute of angle reticle. They also have mil dot reticles that are mil dot or MRAD adjustments. They even
I,
have
I
an
I would say I
MOA.
just want. I'm not looking at doing anything other. Maybe just looking at doing not extreme precision shooting, but just getting. I know the rifle. The C. I want to put a nice mill dot on the C308 that I have
Okay.
because I want to get precision a little bit out of it,
Hmm.
but I realize it's really a four between a 4 and a 6 MOA rifle at
Hmm.
most.
Yeah.
So
Now, another thing, you said that it's a C308. That's the HK clone kind of deal, right?
it's the Century HK clone. Yeah.
Um, the thing about those rifles is that the bolt carrier is so heavy that when it recoil, not the initial rearward recoil, it's the forward recoil that
I know.
actually kills scopes. So well, I'm not trying to like promote the brand like I'm being sponsored by them or anything, but I just like these scopes a lot. That these things are like they're built like a tank. I shot a fixed 10 power on an FAL, and the guy said that he had it on there for 6 years, and it hasn't given him any issues. Whereas he had a Nikon, what is it, the Monarch, on there. He used it for about a week, and the rifle killed the scope.
I'm just looking for something that will hold zero and I'll be able to enjoy.
That's
I'm
kind
not
of what
looking.
he's getting at.
I'm not looking at going to war with it though. So
I know.
That bolt is going to make scope have difficulty holding zero,
yeah.
or even keeping the reticles upright. Reticles upright.
I just don't like the sights on it.
Yeah. AWAG, what kind of a warranty do they offer? Do they offer a lifetime warranty for the original owner? That the
Um,
brand that you're promoting there, that you're talking about?
The
Yeah,
warranty, I see. The thing is, with the warranty, I think they give you a few months of
like a 90
warranty,
day.
um, for like mechanical defects or your reticle defects or glass clarity defects. You can send it back, but other than that, it's almost like you really don't need one. These scopes are so overbuilt.
But I'm just saying, if you need to send it in for service, are they going to honor? Because okay, you're still dropping $200-300 on up, and if
Hmm.
it would not function after 90 days, are you stuck with a paperweight? If it doesn't hold zero, are you stuck with a paperweight? Are you out $300? Because I've been burned before on inexpensive dot sites that I've just bought off the shelf at Walmart. It's one of those ones where it's sold by 4 or 5 brands. It's the same little reflex style site, and they give you the 90 days, and I've had my break within 30, and it was more of a hassle to return the $50 dot site to pay for shipping and return shipping, and hope that they'll approve the repair and send me a new one versus just tossing it in the trash.
Um,
You know,
I'll look up their
with their warranty info. I mean, maybe they would go
yeah.
well on it. They would honor because maybe they don't get a lot of calls, and when they do, they honor it. Because I know there's a lot of brands that do. I believe Vortex gives you a lifetime warranty now. Loophole has a lifetime warranty on their scopes. So you're when you pay that premium, maybe you get that extra coverage in case you would need it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys, Smeggy has joined us. Smeggy, do you have any experiences with optics? What do you look for when you're buying optics for any of your firearms? Do you go? Yeah. Do you
Yes,
have?
I
Do you have?
do. I
Yeah.
do have optics. Um, I don't have any high-end optics,
Okay.
but I do think that um, they are worth it. I've heard people talk about like, oh my god, that's stupid. Why would you spend $3,000 on a scope or whatever? It's like because it's a good scope. Like that's
Yeah.
you just gotta look through the dang thing. That you can definitely see the difference. So I don't like cheap scopes.
Yeah.
And the difference between like cheap and like good value or whatever, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. So I don't go with the cheap. I at least spend, a few $100s or so. But I take that back. Actually, I did buy a cheap scope for my 17 HMR because I was like, yeah, I'm just playing with this thing anyway, so I really
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went with that. But like other than that, yeah, my other scope is a Nikon, which I think for a few $100 or whatever, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yesterday, Pomade just said on the GC side, but Smeggy, you used a high-end dot sight once.
Yeah, I did. I don't. I guess I don't
Are
know.
we talking like EOTech or Aimpoint high end or
I
because
don't know. He'd have
I
to
got a
tell you
strike
what the
fire
heck was
too.
on his gun. I don't remember. I
Yeah,
just look through things and pull the trigger.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's. I think people get caught up with this whole like, spend twice as much as the rifle, or spend half the rifle, or
Or
spend
spend
exactly
as
the same
much as the
amount. Or
ref.
it's people get stuck on that number, but the basic principle is if you're spending, you know, tons of money on the rifle, that means that mechanically it's going to be very, very accurate. At least that's the theory, right?
Yeah.
So why not give yourself the best advantage possible on the scope? And again, kind of like what Tony was mentioning, right? If you're going long range stuff, there's a reason they make these things. People that say, "Oh, this is close enough," and blah blah blah. Okay, well, how come the people that are shooting a mile long shot don't use a $200 scope, right? Because it can't cut it. It's not going to be as
Quality of
accurate
the
and
glass
everything.
isn't there. Yeah, yeah. Tony, share with us, and you and I are kind of in the same boat. We had mentioned this before we started the chat. Tony, you were talking about some of your favorite brands, some of those budget price scopes that do work for you. And a lot of people maybe never consider them because they might consider them junk because of the price. But you and I both have experiences with similar brands. So, Tony, what works for you?
On my 200 rifles, I have 3.9 Simmonses on them, and
Yep.
been using them for a couple of years now, and I've not had to resight them. They're accurate, they're clear.
We're
But
talking sub. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm shooting, 50 feet, so it doesn't take a hell of a lot of scope to get the job done.
Yeah.
That's kind of my big point: is what are you doing with it? If you're out there shooting 1,000 yards, yeah, buy a damn good scope because you're going to need it. If you're hunting squirrels in the trees, it don't take much.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
But
definitely don't have
I'm
to
a
go out there.
long time fan of Tasco scopes. I've always had good luck with them.
You want Tasco, Bushnell, Simmons. I mean, one nice thing about buying them at a big box store, say at your Walmart, is if it doesn't work, you can return it the next day. If it won't hold zero, you can just take it back in with the receipt, get your money back, and try something else. Whereas when you order stuff online, like you had mentioned earlier, go to a gun shop. If they have some scopes in stock, handle them, check them out, see what you think. Um, but it is nice to buy locally too, because if there's a problem, you can return it. You don't have to worry about sending it back in or doing an internet return or anything like that. So it is kind of nice to kind of check out locally what you can get. And there's a decent selection, I think, out there for people that are on a budget. You just got to pick something and go with it.
Yeah,
Um,
go to your gun shop and look through scopes. They should let you look through scopes.
Kind of a danger area that people run into is reviews, YouTube videos and reviews, because you don't know if somebody's just pushing a brand that they're being paid to push or they're being given to push versus somebody who genuinely, I like to watch reviews where people mention the faults about a firearm or a scope. I like to think that they're maybe a little more honest in their presentation. And that tends to sell me more than the 500 5-star reviews on Amazon.
You think about the guys who are putting videos out there. Oftentimes, they really like stuff that they have,
Oh yeah,
so that kind of colors their review. So I really don't pay any attention to those things.
so Tony, you're not a fan of my channel, man? No, I'm just messing with
I'm,
you.
I don't watch videos, so I
Yeah.
don't know anything about your channel, to be absolutely honest.
I don't do a lot of
Ooh,
optics. It's all
burn.
right. Hey, nobody, it's okay, man. It's okay. I'm just a little guppy out there in that big sea. No, it's all right. No, I mean, but I don't do a lot of optics tests, to be honest with you. I'll mention the optic I use on the rifle, but I don't do any testing on them at all. Just say I'm using this scope on it or that scope on it, or
I get on the internet through my cell phone as a hotspot, and I just don't have the capability of watching videos.
yeah, yeah.
I found SWFA's return policy. I'll be honest, it's kind of crappy.
What do they give you? What do they say?
It just says just return any new unused item to us within 10 days and we'll refund your money. Include a copy of your receipt and the issue is a refund. As soon as the scope is mounted, it's considered used. So
What do you do if it's defective? They're just
I,
perfect out of the box. They guarantee it perfect out of the box. You know?
I guess. I mean, I haven't had an issue with my two, but
Yeah.
I mean,
So, the warranty is something to consider before you go drop the money on glass, because you might not get that lifetime warranty like you have on your firearm. You definitely want to watch out for that. Now, go ahead.
I just bought a Tasco 2.5 by 10 with a 42 millimeter
Reticle.
reticle. Yes.
Yeah.
I have yet to try it. I mean, I've got it mounted on the gun, but I got to go to the range and sight it in. So get with me, Night Strike, after I run this thing a while on this 30-06, and I'll let you know if it will withstand abuse. Because it was fairly inexpensive. It was $120.
That's not bad. And if it works and if it holds zero, then that's something nice to consider when you get. I just think, I don't know, a lot of times with optics, I think we're so set on getting the rifle or the pistol or the carbine, whatever, and we're so set on getting the accessories and the ammo that a lot of the times the glass is sometimes an afterthought, or you just kind of make a quick decision based off of what you see online, or click on, oh, it's locked on the screen. I'm sorry. Is that better? Did I unlock the screen now, guys? It looks like it's been on Night Strike for quite a while. My bad.
Yeah,
Still trying to figure out the ins and outs on the Hangout. So.
Was very upset. They were, not enjoying the view.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Okay, my bad. Sorry about that. It's probably been that way for like half an hour. I didn't lock it. I don't know how it got locked. I'm still, yeah.
If you clicked on his name at some point, or maybe you didn't even mean to, you were scrolling past or whatever, whoever you click on presents to the whole audience.
Does it automatically switch over though when you guys are talking?
I'm not sure.
Because when I watch NEA's podcast and stuff, it'll switch over between me.
Yeah, it's supposed to, unless did you just click back on yourself, in which case then you'd be locked on the screen. But I don't know. There's a delay. I'm waiting to see if my little thing pops up because I've been talking here for a while.
Okay.
So we'll figure it out, guys. Travis doesn't really know what the hell he's doing.
No, not at all. No, and that is why I teach computer science. So I don't even know what I just clicked on here.
I'm wondering about that myself.
There we go. There's a button you click on the left side called Cameraman. See, now if Google would just put words on pictures instead of me trying to read the picture and decipher the hieroglyphic, then I could get through this a lot faster.
Yeah, it's switching back and forth. Don't. You're fine.
No, I clicked on the Cameraman button. I didn't even know that existed on the left-hand side. So there we go. I think we're good.
The manufacturer of SWFA, the scopes have a lifetime warranty through the manufacturer. So if it has SWFA SS on it, it's covered. So
you're sure?
That's what I'm reading.
Okay.
We'll
hold you to it.
All right, so I wanted to say something here that Gio's been dropping some little nuggets of knowledge, almost tidbits, if you would. But he says cheaping out on glass is like saving up for many years to take a cruise. Then when it's time to go on the cruise, you choose the cheap-ass room where you don't even see the ocean. Or it says outside.
I got to agree. I've wasted a lot of money on inferior, inexpensive, off-the-rack dot sights. I could have just bought something nicer in the $200 to $300 range and had something that wouldn't have given me any grief versus 4 or 5 of the off-brands or something that I purchased online. So let's get into it right now. What are some brands that you've had negative experiences with? Some brands that should we stay away from, the NC Stars and the UTGs? Because a lot of those scopes, you see them with 5 or 6 different brands on the optic itself. They're marketing the same scope or red dot with all these different company names on it. Like this, for instance, this is the $15 imitation Bushnell that I bought from Wish.com. Okay, it's not even I don't even know if it's really a Bushnell. It says Bushnell. The box that came with it just says red dot. It almost looks like a Tasco box. So do you want to avoid those? Do you want to give those a chance at all? I know obviously some people are on a budget and they're going to buy what they can. But what are some brands that you guys typically try to avoid that you've had some issues with?
Well, I haven't had issues, but I avoid NC Star as soon as I see that name. I just
for the glass or everything?
Everything, basically.
Okay.
It's a freaking airsoft company in my book. Now, I know it might not be, but that's what my brain translates it to. So it's if you want to throw $50 in the drain, I guess there you go, throw $50 in the drain. But That's something I avoid. I like I said, I don't have tons of experience, so I might not know all the different brands, but if I'm looking for a scope and it's under $100, then unless it's like a super good sale or something, and I know that like I've seen the company name before or whatever. But if it's under 100, I say, well, that's probably not the one for me.
Yeah.
Just keep on walking.
You guys have any experience with UTG red dots at all? Because when you search for these things on Amazon or on Google, that's one of the first ones that's going to pop up, or the most popular sellers, which doesn't mean it's necessarily the highest quality.
No.
In fact, it almost normally means it's not. Like
It's whoever's going with the cheapest thing that'll
super
get the
most
job
popular
done.
ones are probably the cheapest ones.
UTG is okay in my book.
I have
I don't have any experience with them. I don't know a lot about them.
Yeah.
I have no experience with anything other than rifle scopes.
With UTG, as long as you keep it under 2 power, the glass clarity is fine.
Yeah,
Under
because
what? Under 2 power?
Under 2 power.
Well, what's the point of having an optic if you're only zooming in a tiny little bit?
Squirrels in your backyard, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty much an airsoft company.
Yeah.
So that's like I have a 3-9 scope on my 30-06 that never gets turned down past like 5 or 6. I'm like, I don't need just like, I don't know. I'd rather just zoom way in, even if something's kind of close. I know it gives you more field of view and all that kind of crap, but
yeah,
I'm just shooting holes in paper, so.
Do you guys have any experience with Primary Arms? Because if I'm not mistaken, don't they market the same scope as Vortex, but they have a different warranty? Aren't there certain models that Vortex and Primary Arms share in manufacture? Because that's one that a lot of guys consider, because they're another budget-priced optic that's out there that's fairly popular. I see a few people have commented on that, saying that's a brand that they know seem to be reliable. I have no experience with Primary Arms at all.
Yeah, I don't know about Primary Arms, but if they have something to do with Vortex, I do like Vortex. That's what my red dot is. But again, I think that those are more of the kind of good deal stuff, not cheap necessarily.
Primary
I just
Arms
got it was thrown in when I bought the upper.
Primary Arms was one of the scopes I was looking into before I found out about the SWFA. And I got to actually handle one of their 4 to 14 power first focal plane models. It was like $300. But when you looked at the reticle, it was just so cluttered. It's got like this big old like hash triangle thing down at the bottom, and you hardly have any field of view, even though the glass size is actually pretty decent. I didn't like that. It's just.
See, I have a close family member that's considering buying one of those. Not myself, but the reticle is something that he was interested in. But the fact that it could cover up so much of your image of your target, or just the fact that it could be so distracting, that might be one reason that you want to stay away from that particular line too. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have any experience with theirs at all, but yeah. So we could say that you're okay going with some of these, maybe some of these trusted brands, like, on the lower end, you got your Tasco, your Bushnell, your Simmons, and you should start to work your way up the ladder. You guys have any experience with Vortex at all?
Well, I have the red dot. I've never shot with their scope, but I like it. Like I said, it was tossed in. It was a deal when I bought the upper. It was the upper plus a red dot. I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of neat. So I was planning on just putting iron sights on it, and I was like, well, I guess I'll use the red dot, see what the thing's all about.
Which one do you have? Do you have a Spark or a Strike Fire 2? Which one do you use?
That's a good question. I think it was the Strike Fire or Strike Fire 2, one of those ones.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's probably the most expensive.
I mean, it's a red dot, and it either goes red or green.
Yeah. Yep.
And then you can do like night vision mode, which like cuts the brightness down way low. Not like it's IR or nothing, but it is like it just makes it really dim.
Yeah.
I do have a Vortex, but I got it from a friend. It's a Crossfire 2.
Okay.
But since I got it from a friend and it was used, I'm not too keen on putting on any of my rifles just yet. No, because he was just gonna throw it away. So I don't know. I don't know if that's an indication if it's bad or good.
Test it. Just run maybe 20 rounds through it, because I'm pretty sure Vortex has a lifetime warranty, or I don't know if that's something they just started, but look into it, because you might be able to send it in and get a new scope out of it if it doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
I know I was looking at the Cabela's brand scopes too when I was in, not to promote them, but they look like they make some solid lines also. And I don't know if their scopes are manufactured by somebody else or if they share a production line with another company, but they also have a lifetime warranty on their scopes too. To me, that's kind of a big deal, because that first time you know, if you take it out and it doesn't zero, or maybe you buy it and 6 months later you use it, then again, you're basically stuck with an expensive paperweight. So to me, I think, yeah, you definitely need to do your research. You need to look into it a bit more. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, you kind of get your mind set on something, and you go out there and you look at buying it, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I've had positive experiences and I've had negative experiences with different brands and stuff. So let's see. Car Carrier's making a comment. I recommend Vortex to people because they offer everything from relatively cheap to expensive and lifetime warranty. Yeah. So that, and again, with me, it was a lot of YouTube videos that came out at one point. When I first started getting into shooting, I was a little bit, you know, kind of ignorant with how I educated myself on an optic, going off a lot of the videos. And when the Strikefire 2 had come out, there was a lot of videos that came out on it that basically sold me on it. I mean, when I see multiple people using it, but now I tend to do a little more reading. I'll look into the quality of the optic itself. I'll look at the features. I'll definitely look at the warranty. I think it's one of those things as you get a little bit older too, you know, you start to want to go for maybe a little more quality and craftsmanship in the things that you buy. You want something that's going to definitely last you a little bit longer. But if you find something that works for you, you know, many times you can be happy with that too. So, yeah. Guys, if you have any comments out in the chat, make sure you let me know. AC has a question. What if you could carry a gun on you so hidden it was like the footsteps of a Navy SEAL? Well,
Oh, jeez.
as a former SEAL, I can... No, I'm just kidding.
Really, I didn't see you in that movie, Navy SEALs.
Oh yeah, I had just a bit role. I was one of the guys that actually got shot at the very beginning. It was dark.
Oh,
You couldn't,
right.
I had this. Yeah, I was dressed up.
So was that beard real or was it fake?
At that point, it was real. Yeah. No, guys, I'm just kidding. I was not actually in Navy SEALs. If I would have been, it would be way higher than 25% at RottenTomatoes.com. So.
Wow.
I actually liked that movie. That was a good one. So
I kind of did too, just because of the guns.
Squib was saying, thinking about starting out with a less expensive Vortex for my kid's 1022. Yeah, I mean, you know, part of it, and also think about it, that scope might get banged around a little bit. You're going to want something that's going to hold up, that's going to hold zero, that, you know, I'm not saying if you drop it and you break it, you should send it in, but it should hold up to some basic use. I'd say Vortex is a solid brand from what I've seen and what I've read. Yeah. Are you looking up Navy SEALs now? Or are you checking out? You fact checking me? I just made up that percentage on Rotten Tomatoes. I have no idea. It deserves better than 25%. LOL. Oh yeah, you know, it might be like a 4.5 or a 5 on IMDb. It's hard telling. So, yeah.
They're fact checking you now. Watch out, Travis.
Tony, quick question for you. Have you ever been burned on any of the lower price optics that you purchased? Have you ever had any that you just like an off the rack that you bought that just wouldn't hold zero and you had to take it back?
I had a Simmons years ago that the first time I fired it on a rifle, the freaking reticule fell down. Other than that, no.
So you could not get it re-zero no matter what you try. I had the same experience
No,
happen.
They disappeared. They just fell off.
Oh my. Okay. You got to wonder if they test these things before they actually sell them, or if they just put them into production to hope they work. I mean, I'm kind of curious if there's any R&D at all that goes into some of the.
I think it's probably
models.
more along the second line.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they just send them out and hope they work.
I know I purchased. I think it was like maybe a Centerpoint reflex sight that was like $25 at Cabela's, and I've seen it marketed as a BSA and also an NC Star. If you go onto Wish.com where I bought this, they had that particular reflex sight marked with like all these different brands and stuff. And mine, I think I wasted 100 rounds trying to zero it. It kept dropping, and I didn't know if it was my gun or myself or the stand. I would get it centered, and 5 or 6 rounds later, the shots would start to drift down, and I'd crank it up, and it started. And then I got to the point where I couldn't make any more adjustments on the elevation of the windage, and I thought this is not cool. So I don't know what I ever did with it. I think I ended up putting it on my wife's Nerf gun. They used to have Nerf gun battles at her place of employment, and so I kind of tacticaled up her Nerf gun so she could have a bit of an advantage. Because when you're in an office space, 20 feet, you don't need much of a zero. So shooting the 338 Nerf Pua.
Your wife sounds like she's got a hell of a good job.
That she's actually switched jobs since then, but she's a shooter herself. She's actually better than me, I think, at certain firearms. But yeah, that was a little fun little place of employment. Well, actually, the fun part is the Nerf battle thing, just to kind of go off on a quick little story. She didn't even know they did it. And one day, one of her coworkers walked by and handed her a single shot, like single cock Nerf gun. I don't have the Nerf darts in my pocket right now. I've thrown them all, but it was actually shooting here. I have these because my cat likes to go fetch them. One of these.
The fact that was a possibility that you would have a Nerf dart in your pocket, like, oh yeah, of course I have Nerf darts.
338. Well, it's because my cat chases them. If she starts to freak out, I just take one of these and throw it. If you see me randomly throwing it, it's so I can get her to calm down so she doesn't start whining and trying to wrestle with me and jump in front of the camera and stuff. But anyway, somebody handed her just a crappy single shot, and she came home and told me what happened, and I'm like, that'll never happen again. So I went to Walmart and bought her one of those, just like the carbines that they sell, and I put the reflex sight on the top. I wrapped it up in camo tape. I put a sling on it, and got her 3 spare magazines with darts, and she was good after that. And actually bought her the 338 Nerf Pua video that I did, that little bolt action. I originally bought that for her. That's a bolt action Nerf gun. That was the one that I did a video on. And she uses that she was able to lob darts all the way across the office and hit her manager with it, which it worked well. It worked really well. So, and that did not have an actual optic on it. It just had a little plastic scope. So it was kind of a fun thing. But now she's since moved on to a different career, but in the current job, they don't do that, unfortunately. So there we go. All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to add about optics? Anything to keep in mind when you're out shopping? Where do you guys go? AWAG, where do you go for information on an optic before you buy it? Are you influenced by reviews, YouTube videos? What is it that convinces you? I mean, because obviously, the scope, you weren't able to test it out or try it before you purchased it. So where do you go? What is your place to go check out?
Usually what I do is I check my local gun shops and I ask them, hey, what scopes do you see people using on their rifles? And then they tell me. And usually I get information at the range. Like I'll ask somebody, hey, what scope is that on your rifle? And then they'll tell me. I was like, how do you like it? And then they either say, hey, it's pretty awesome, or hey, it's crap.
Yeah, so the range is always a good idea.
If you want to get good deals on scopes, this is kind of mean, but I kind of abuse people like big box stores. They're people that don't know anything.
Yeah, they basically read the package to you.
It's really funny. Is this scope that's on my Savage Mark II? It's the Pro Staff. I think it's like $170. I got it for $60 and it was brand new in the box at Dick's Sporting Goods. I went to Dick's Sporting Goods and they had one scope left in the case and it said sale $65.99. I'm like, oh, so I pushed the button and I'm like, hey, can I get that scope there? And the guy's like, yeah, sure, we got some in the back. And I'm like, I thought it was just the scope. Okay, whatever. So he goes in the back and he hands me this box and he's like, this is the right one, right? And I was like, I guess, because the one that was in the case didn't have a box. And so he's like, all right, I'll take it up. So he takes it up to the front and the lady scans it. It was like $180. And the guy was there and he's like, no, that's not the right price. It was like $65.99. I'm like, okay, cool. So I paid it and I left.
There you go, man. There you go. That works out. Have you guys ever ordered from
what store number was that at?
Yeah.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's probably the one in Cherry Hill, New Jersey.
There you go, guys. So Cherry Hill, New Jersey is where they have a great deal on Pro Staff stocks or Pro Staff scopes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now another place you can get really good prices is the demos. If you go on like Optics Planet, they have demo scopes that usually they have like at a Sportsman's Expo or something that people handle a lot. Usually those scopes are regular scopes, but they've just been handled a little bit. And usually you can get them for a pretty decent price. I was looking at a Trijicon ACOG, the four power. Normally they're like what, $1,700. It
Yeah,
was
at least
on
1,500 on up. Yeah.
Optics Planet for like $800. It's just, how can you not? And they
Dude,
come with the Trichicon's warranty too.
I
So
was gonna say, as long as you're not cut back, because it's not considered a refurb or an open box item where they're going to give you less of a warranty on the item. That's a good idea. I never considered that. I didn't even realize that they offered such a thing. You know, and again, I'm a noob when it comes to optics and glass and scopes. My experiences are buying it either at Walmart or buying it on Amazon, and that's pretty much all I have for experience. So it does pay to look around, especially on those higher end. Why didn't you buy that ACOG? The Super could have
I
waited.
wanted to,
The Super could have
but
waited.
but my yeah, about that. I wanted to get it for my ACR, and I was like, yeah, that would look really sick on top of it. And then I looked at my account status, and it said I only had like $725 left on my credit card. I'm like, ah, crap.
You know, we could have done a GoFundMe campaign and got you that extra $50 and kind of push through, do a little telethon, you know.
Oh, I would have loved that.
Hey, Nice Strike, what about you, man? When you consider where do you shop for your optics at? What do you like to do? Do you have a location you like to go to aside from the ones I send you?
You know, aside from the ones you send me, it's Walmart. It's now it's Palmetto State Armory. I've been looking at a lot of the optics they have there because they've got everything. And you know, still you're looking online as well. The Optics Planet, excuse me. I've looked at too. So
I knew
PSA.
we did a PSA plug.
Hey, man, I impulse purchased some PSA stuff
all the
last
other
week.
big box
So
stores are going out here in South Carolina because they're getting rid of Gander Mountain in my area. They're
Yeah.
getting rid of, you know, I don't know if we even have a Dick's Sporting Goods left. So literally, PSA is the only big box store, you know, in the area now.
how are PSA's prices when stuff's not on sale? Are they pretty much comparable? I mean, is there an advantage to ordering through
They're
PSA? I know
they're
you get
pretty much the same as if you ordered online or somewhere else.
okay. Because I know you get some fairly quick shipping time, being that you're in the same state, right? I mean, what's PSA's usual delivery time for you?
About a week.
Okay. Yeah, because I think I'm looking at about a week and a half for my AR upper to show up from them. So PSA is one to consider. And again, I have hardly ever browsed the glass section at PSA. I mean, I knew they had one, but I never really considered it, you know, because I'm so set on where I shop from and where I go. Smeggy, what about you? Where would you go as a resource to order your glass? What do you prefer? Who have you had some good experiences with?
I might have my best experience with Hit or Miss Tuesdays 9 o'clock.
Well, of course, yes. That's where you get the best information, where we find out about things like PSA. Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely find out about PSA on that channel. But
Wow.
anyways, actually, I've bought my couple of scopes from Cabela's, which I know they're a big box store or whatever, but they had some stuff like on pretty good sale, so the price was right. I think I might check out Gander Mountain, like Night Strike was mentioning. There is one in my area that, if they have anything left or whatever. Maybe.
Yeah, their website is just a single screen, isn't it? When you go to GanorMountain.com, isn't it just a going out of business screen and that's it? There's
someone said something about that. Yeah, the website's down. I haven't been to it.
Now, I have done, not to sidetrack us here, but I've done a little bit of reading and research on what's going to happen to Cabela's, because we have, well, the first and second Cabela's ever built here in Nebraska. You know, they came out, they started in Nebraska, and they were recently purchased, well, a year ago, whatever, purchased by Bass Pro Shops. And it sounds like they're going to keep Cabela's open because they've got such brand loyalty, and they're so established that financially it wouldn't give much of an advantage to Bass Pro Shops to close up the Cabela's or to convert them, because they already kind of have their own clientele.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing with that sale. Cabela's wasn't hurting for money or anything when they were bought. It was just one of those, the price was right, that
The owners just wanted
to cash out or whatever.
Yeah. Well, they were doing some real heavy expansion, opening up a lot more stores than I think that they could support at that time. Maybe they're going to slow that down a little bit because there's so many times that the Cabela's was right across the street from Bass Pro Shops. I've seen that in a few cities I've gone to.
Well,
Right,
guys,
and that's the thing. They may close a couple of them because of that, but
Yeah.
I also read a thing that said the guy specifically wants to get Bass Pro Shop back into fishing, like mainly with like a little bit of hunting, camping, or whatever, and then Cabela's is going to be mostly hunting and camping with like a
Yeah.
little bit of fishing. And there was
Let's
something
see.
with like the boats and tractors and all that kind of crap, right? They're going to try and, especially if they're both stores are in the same city, they'll definitely separate that out. But some cities only have either a Bass Pro or a Cabela's.
Yeah.
And those ones are going to be a lot more diversified in what they have.
Yeah.
let's face it, guys, that the decision on Cabela's selling might have largely been due to them expecting Hillary to win the election, too.
Well, and I think maybe
I don't know about that because they sell.
I was thinking their profits.
They make way more money off their fucking sweatshirts and boots and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they have firearms, but that is by no means their main revenue stream. It's all camping and hiking and boats and all that kind of stuff. They make the most money off of.
Smeg, you're right about their sale prices, dude, because that's the only time I'll buy from Cabela's is if I can't get it better locally. Their sale prices, because otherwise they charge full retail on everything. I mean, you're not going to find, they want $199 for a high point. Okay, I can get one a classic for $139. I can buy one locally for $159. So I mean, they're not. You're right though. They're good for sale prices, but a lot of people just go there because they think that is the authority for the parts and the place to go for things and accessories. But
Right,
I'm
like
not trying
you
to
said,
bash on it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the people that they're just like, oh well, this must be like a gun store or whatever. Ooh, man. But anyways, yeah, I do like them, and we have one of the bigger ones nearby, like kind of what you say, right? You had like the first and second. Mine was when they built the one in Michigan. There was, I don't know, there's only like 5 or something at that point. Like it was one of the older ones, and it was a huge experience, right? They had all the crazy stuff in there, and then since then they've opened up 3 more in Michigan that are closer to like a Gander Mountain in size, right? They're just like, whatever, like just like a smaller sporting goods store kind of thing.
Yeah,
But-
if you've seen the one that we have in Kearney, Nebraska, it's a single story. They do have some of the animals when you walk in, but they don't have the huge log cabin look. I mean, they still have the old wood panel on the walls. I mean, it just looks like a department store when you walk into it. So they don't have that huge mega store thing going on with that particular one. But yeah, they do definitely try to sell you on the experience when you go there. Tony, what were you going to say? I'm sorry we cut you off, man. We're just kind of talking about the Cabela's thing, ordering from Cabela. Or places you like to go, Tony, when you buy your optics. You said Walmart. Where else?
When I buy,
yeah.
So I first go to the gun shop.
Okay.
I mean, to look at stuff. No matter what anybody says on reviews or written pages, advertisements, whatnot, you don't know anything until you go look.
There's a lot of guys. Here's another one. We forgot about the 800-pound gorilla, Brownells. Brownells is another one that people recommend. I know that they've got an awesome return policy and very fair shipping prices. So yeah, Brownells is one that people are putting up in the comments. Cabela's and Gander Mountain. Let's see what else we have. There was a few other ones that people had mentioned to go check out.
I really want to check out Optics Planet.
Yeah.
I think the thing with scopes though, and I know that like big box stores and stuff have been complaining about this or whatever, but you want to see the dang thing, especially if you're spending a whole bunch of money on it. So
at least
go into the stores and check everything out. They say, oh, I'll think about it. And they go home, they go online, and they buy, the exact model they were looking at for cheaper. And is that unfair to the retail stores? Yeah, probably a little bit. But at the same time, like we said, that joke around Gander Mountain, they're going on a business sale, all firearms now MSRP. The low price of MSRP. So
yeah.
They kind of deserve it, I guess.
Smeggy's favorite, MSRP.
But,
I mean, the big internet retailers are able to keep going, and they're able to charge way less than the stores, why can't the stores, or why shouldn't the stores just lower the price to be more competitive?
They're not buying in bulk like these online retailers are, because the retailers are buying so many things in bulk that they're able to get a better price because they're buying so many of them. But these other stores can't do that.
I'd say somebody like Cabela's
You
probably
sure
can.
think I was just
Yeah.
say Cabela's or Bass Pro
Bass
should be able
shops,
to.
yeah.
You'd think they'd be able to, but apparently they aren't.
Of course, they are operating individual stores. You got the overhead of operating the store, the employees, the utility costs, the property costs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's more infrastructure in the chain, but I mean, yeah, I mean,
It may be that they are able to, but they're not willing to take the risk because, a purchase like that could make or break their company.
Yeah.
Look at Gander Mountain.
Yeah.
That getting into guns killed them.
just because of their prices that they charge, nobody would go shop there, or what?
I'd say that.
The consensus of the people involved were that their choice of what they decided to stock killed them.
Yeah, and we'd seen where Dick's Sports had been. Was it Dick's or was it Academy that was pulling the? It was Dick's Sports that was pulling the black rifles off the shelf.
It's easy to remember, Dick's or Dick's.
Yeah, I remember that from Matt's video. Oh, hey, there is another optic here.
Like they would still sell it, right? Because they still want the money, but they wouldn't like.
That wasn't Dick's Sporting Goods. That was Academy Sports.
Well, Dick's was Dick's too. I know that.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Dick's.
Maybe
also.
they both screwed us over. I don't know.
Yeah. Another brand that people had mentioned.
It's hard to keep track of all these backstabbers in the outdoor industry.
Yeah, you buy from one, you get jumped on by everyone.
But like I said, I mean, sometimes you can almost understand it from a business point of view. Like it's crappy. Okay, they don't like gun people or whatever, but most of their revenue is coming from tents and canoes and clothing and all this other kind of crap, right? So like they'll keep all the hunting rifle stuff because it's an outdoor store, and so if they lose the tactical people, they figure that's 2% of their whole market share anyway. So what do they care?
Yeah.
But they lost 5 minutes. I used to go to Dick's all the time to get ammo or whatever, just because it was nearby. Before I started buying bulk online, it's like it was on the way up north. I used to be one of them guys like, oh, I'm going up north for the weekend. Stop in, buy 2-3 boxes of ammo, go up north, shoot it, come home. Like I used to be like that. I have since changed my ways. Yeah, Patrick says it was Academy pulling ARs, but Dick's did also, so they both did it. One of them trick questions.
And Walmart,
those guys
too.
like that. Dick's, Walmart. I wouldn't say so much Academy, but they got to dance with everybody. So they have to do what they think is in the best interest of the whole damn store, not just the gun section.
Oh yeah, Walmart. That's shit. Firearms have to be 0.5% of their sales.
They still don't sell pistols.
Groceries and shit.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Walmart online they carry it. I'm surprised that Walmart, I think I mentioned this before, that they don't carry Magpul on their racks. I'm really surprised they don't do just magazines or accessories. You think it would be like something they could stock? Because they have some accessories. They've got like Allen brand and they've got Blackhawk. But yeah, the pistols thing, yeah.
There's a few magazines at my local. There was last time I was in there.
Oh, okay. Ours is fairly small though too, so it could be the size of the area. It could just be and they might carry maybe. I know they carry some MFT accessories. They do carry MFT. I've seen the stocks in the store before.
There wasn't a rack. Now there was like 2.
Okay.
So it might have just been some oddity. And it was the only time I've ever seen them there. But they carry holsters and shit like that.
Yeah.
So if we can kind of get back to optics, I was going to mention this earlier. I was seeing if G was wanting to jump in because he was dropping some golden things. But one of the things he said back in the day was, meaning earlier today. Anyways, buy one really nice optic for all your rifles. And actually it ends up being cheaper than buying like 5 okay scopes or whatever. And it was something he said in the past that made me think, and that's kind of what I'm looking for now. I think the next scope I'll get will be a multi-platform scope, and I'm just going to go for a really, really nice one, and then be happy for a long time.
So that's why I try to buy a rifle that does everything. So I only need to get one scope.
There you
So
go.
I use 30-06.
That'll work.
Travis,
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
you foreign?
Am I what?
I thought you were American, but forgot to welcoming the gun channel side.
Yeah, well, I
That
haven't been
sounds
looking.
like a
I have
foreign person.
forgot to welcome. Did I say welcoming or welcome?
Welcoming.
Forgot to welcome. It's supposed to be welcome. You know, I'm generally pretty good with my my grammar.
Welcome, you must.
My
Yes.
grammar and punctuation. Look at my replies in my YouTube videos. I really use very few acronyms. I use correct grammar, proper usage of terms and words and sentence structures. I try, man. I try. I meant to say just forgot to welcome the GC side. I forgot to come over here and look at their comments. Yeah, but not forgot to welcoming. Sorry about that. Yeah, my bad.
At least you're not an English teacher.
No. I'm a Spanish teacher actually. But you learn a lot about English when you teach another foreign language. So there you go. Yeah. Cool.
Sorry, I just had to pick on you a little bit.
No. It's okay. I had it coming. It's all right, man. Yeah.
So
Yep.
again, unless maybe you guys had touched on this earlier, because I did jump in a tiny bit late, and I don't know, maybe you're getting sick of the topic, you want to move on. But
Yeah.
as far as high end scopes go, what are some brands that maybe I should be looking at? Because I'm not super familiar with that. I haven't started really doing a bunch of research.
SWFA.
That'll work. I like Loophole. I like their quality, and they've got a solid warranty. They're American manufactured, so that makes a difference. Yeah, I would say Loophole is a good one to go with.
Probably Nikon.
Yeah. Nice Strike. What do you think? Do you have a higher end brand you'd consider?
I don't
Would
know.
you- would
I haven't looked at any higher end ones yet, so I'm in the market. Let's just put it that way.
There you go.
Weaver's still in the scope business.
I don't know. I've got an old Weaver on my 3030 that absolutely runs awesome. It's probably 20 years old. No, it's more than that. It's probably 25 years old, and it still runs great. Weaver would be a good one if they're around, or if you can find one. Vortex is one guys are bringing up in the chat. You can spend a lot of money on Vortex. Has some higher end lines that you can spend.
Why don't we make that mine Vortex? Because I have one Vortex scope that I'm going to mess with later. Maybe
Yeah,
see if the warranty's still gone. If it is, I might be able to.
Dude, call them up and say, I've got one that doesn't work. I don't have the paperwork on it. You're not lying.
Well, halfway.
Just say, I don't have, but you don't have the warranty information. You don't know when it was, you don't remember when it was purchased. You have no prior recollection. So Burris. Oh, Burris is another one. Yeah. Burris scopes. I forgot about those guys. There's a lot of good brands that are flowing in right now. Hollow Sun is one that a lot of guys have been recommending in the chat also. They've got the solar. Yeah.
They popped up.
I played with them at NRA show this year.
Yeah. What do you think?
And definitely for, a red dot thing, I really like that. I think it is cool as hell. It's got the solar panel thing, and then it also, it adjusts the brightness based on the light. So it auto dims or auto brightens, if it gets cloudy or if it's sunny or whatever. That's pretty darn cool.
Now I'm going to complain. Go ahead.
Don't they have one now that looks like the EOTech one? I think they just came. I kind of want to get one of those, but I don't know any information about them.
On two of the, I'm totally drawing a blank right. On two of the SIG carbines that I took out, there was a reflex like an RX-30 and an RX-34. I had two different reflex sights, and I think the difference was the MOA. They're solar, they're solar powered, whatever you want to call it. They're solar lit. When I was out on a bright sunny day, I found the reticle almost too bright to be able to use with the target. It was so bright that I couldn't really make out my bullseye. I couldn't really make out. And so I don't know if that has an adjustability for the light level. So if there's a manual adjust on that, it would be nice. Granted, if you're talking human targets in a combat situation, you're going to want that illumination. But for target shooting, trying to do 100 yards or even 75 yards, I was honestly having trouble with it. Quality was awesome. Very clear. Very
and was
cool,
that one of the What did that one normally auto adjust? You're just saying it
Yeah.
didn't adjust down
Yeah,
far
yeah,
enough?
it was so bright on a bright sunny day. I was just kind of curious if the hollow sun is the same kind of situation. That's because I'd love to get one of those naturally lit models that use that fiber optic or use that light multiplication. But I mean, I was having trouble seeing the bullseye with it. Granted, it was
This
accurate.
isn't like that. Yeah, they don't use fiber optic. It
Well, no,
just
this
uses.
wasn't even fiber. The RX-34 kind of looks like an EOTech style. The one that I was using. Well, it was a Trijicon, but and it had that little solar panel. It was called an RX-34, Trijicon RX-34. And I mean, it was cool. I was just like, man, I'm actually using Trijicon dot sight for the first time, and it was cool. They're $500. It's a reflex 4.5 MOA, 42 millimeter dot sight. But I guess I'm so used to having the battery lit models that you can control the brightness on that I just wasn't used to that style. Not that I couldn't get used to that, but and that's why I mean I've considered a hollow sun, but I just didn't know if that brightness, that intensity would be so bright that you wouldn't be able to adjust it. Squib is booing hollow sun, made in China. Oh, then he says use what works for you. Okay,
China.
it's getting harder to find quality American made optics. You're pretty much gonna have to go with the Trijicon or go with Leupold, or even some of their lower ends. I think are well, no, they're American made all the way through. Not sure. So, anywho, guys, do you want to finish up with anything? Any final advice or anything you want to say, AWAG? Anything about scopes? Anything we should keep in mind when we're out shopping? If anybody's using this podcast to look for some glass this weekend, or maybe their hunting season next fall.
Yeah, kind of think on your feet, almost. Like if you see a store that's going out of business, go in there and take a look around. I mean, if it's something that you didn't think you would want, or you were kind of looking at, and it's on sale for like 75% off, I'd buy it. I mean, if it's crap, then put it on an air gun or an airsoft gun or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I did with one of my rifles. My SIG actually killed my Nikon Buckmasters, and so I put it on my my airsoft gun. So I wreck little kids in little local games. A lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah. So there you go. Definitely look around when you shop. Nice, Rick. Anything you want to say? Anything to keep in consideration if you're out shopping for glass? Any little tips or pieces of advice you can give before we go ahead and call it?
Yeah, check online first. If you know what you're looking for already, and you don't have to go and pick it up, go ahead and check online for prices. And see if you can get something. If not, if you want to hold it, go to a store.
Okay. All right, Smeggy, what about you? Any little bits of advice for the listeners out there looking for glass this weekend or next fall?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna steal this from Lynchpin.
Yeah, I was looking at
I think
that.
it's going back when I was asking about high end scopes.
Yeah.
It says Swarovski.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I know they make good glass, right? They're the ones that make the crystals and shit. Like they're
$1,200 binoculars. Yeah.
yeah. U.S. Optics.
Leica.
I don't think I've ever heard of, and Night Force.
Leica is a camera company. They make some of the most expensive cameras that are out there, and they make glass for different applications: eyeglasses, scopes, cameras, digital and old school film, microscopes. Yeah, that's remember seeing them first. So Leica. So look at the brand that makes the glass. Look at the brand of the glass, not necessarily just the brand of the scope itself.
Here's a little plug on Night Force. Night Force contracts, well, from my knowledge, don't quote me on this, but from my knowledge, Night Force contracts their glass from the same company that puts the glass in the Vortex Viper. What are they? The AMGs, the really high-end one.
Yeah, when you start to get up there, those are around $1,500, I think, if not more.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Pretty much your high-end Vortex glass is the same as Night Force, roughly.
Okay. Tony, what about you? You want to chime in? Anything to keep in mind when you're out shopping for glass? I know you've had tried and true luck with just some of the box store brands. Me too. I'm right there in the same category as you with that.
Just two things. Go look through glass at stores.
Yeah.
They'll tell you most of what you need to know right there. And second, don't overlook Milsurp.
Oh yes,
Because
definitely.
high quality stuff comes out of some of these foreign countries, most notably Russia.
Yeah, AWAG,
I've had
weren't you
Russian-
talking about that, or who was talking about that before the chat started? You said one of the
Yes.
best scopes you bought was a Russian manufacturer, no label box.
Mm-hmm.
You
That
know,
was me.
oh, that
No,
was you,
no,
Tony.
I
Okay,
got
okay.
one too. It's the Russian Obzor. It's basically Russia's ACOG. I got that for like $300, and that thing is overbuilt, and
Oh
I
yeah,
could like throw it out my window and not care about it, and it'd be fine. But I lost it, so I would show it if I found it.
Tony, you said you have one.
I had
Okay.
two.
Where did you pick them up? Just a gun show, or?
Local gun shop had them.
Oh, okay, okay.
If you want,
I looked-
if you want Russian optics, there's a website. They're based out in North Carolina. It's called Kalinka Optics. They have a bunch of Russian scopes and everything. They got your PSOs. They even have, I think it's MOA adjusted, like the PSO reticle thing, the chevrons. That thing is pretty sick, but they're like $300, $400, $500 around there.
So yeah, so you can do well. You could get yourself that one scope that's going to last you a lifetime. You know, $300 to $500. You don't necessarily have to spend a lot. Spend a lot if you want to. Spend a lot if you can. You know, buy whatever you want to buy, but you don't necessarily have to break the bank to get quality optics that are going to work for you.
They
So,
also have the Cobra red dots as well.
oh yeah,
The Russian stuff that I've looked at had about the most intuitive mil dot reticle I've ever seen. It was a bit confusing at first, but once you understood what it was really easy to get to.
now Colby, you changed my answer here. Isn't it based on somebody at a certain height at a certain distance? That's what the reticle is based around for a
Correct.
human target. Is that what they do with the reticles on a lot of the Russian scopes?
Yes.
I think it's like a 5 foot
5'8" or 5
10
foot?
inch.
Yeah. Target at how many yards? Is it
I think
supposed
it's
to
at
be like
100 meters.
100 meters? Okay. Oh yeah. All right. Okay. So that's something to definitely consider. And then Tony, there was something else you said. Check out the milsurp, and then what else? Any advice then again?
Go look through the glass.
Oh yes.
That's how I come up with them Russian ones. They had them there, and I looked through one. I took both of them that they had. I wish I could find 6 more.
Have you looked around online to see if anybody has them for sale, or have you located any?
I haven't even looked. I don't remember the brand.
Okay. Here we go. Next week's topic: Russian scopes. No, I'm just kidding. Sweet.
No.
Cool.
Now you're gonna make
No,
me
no,
carport my
Just
room.
wanted to have a little optics discussion, you know, because if anybody's out there in the market, then some stuff to take into consideration. You know, are you okay buying the low end stuff? Do you want to focus on the high end stuff? And so I just wanted to pick your brains a little bit and see what you guys have for experience. Because like I said, I'm not much of a long range shooter myself. You know, other than just some deer hunting, some range hunting, long range practice. I don't have a lot of experience with optics, and I've just pretty much bought what was in the big box stores or used whatever came on the gun at the time. So, all right, guys. Well, I want to thank you for joining me today. Otherwise, I think we're all set. Anybody want to put any final plugs in before we go? AWAG?
If you're looking for firing pins for your AR, I found out this place, firingpins.com. You can actually get, they make a titanium firing pin in-house, and it's like $20, and they actually send you a little like paper that actually proves that it's titanium and stuff, and it has
Oh my
like all
God.
the aficionado stuff. It's pretty neat. They
Cool.
make, and you can actually contact them if you have a rifle that you can't find a firing pin for. I think they'll make it for you. They even have like a little section of it
Is this
down at
the
the bottom
website?
of their page.
Is this it right
Yes, that's it.
Here we go.
They got all kinds of goodies.
here? Ooh, they do AR 180 parts too.
Holy crap.
There you go.
This might be our fun little website to visit this weekend. So,
You got-
man,
there you go, Travis. They've
Do
got
they-
Pico.
do they have Sky? Do they have Kaka PX2? I mean CPX2.
I don't know if they've got Sky.
I think with
No.
those, if you just break
No.
the firing pin, you just buy a new one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, actually, I did a quick update on my Sky just before we go here. I gotta say this. They are
Ooh,
sending me
split
a brand new slide, barrel, and spring guide rod combo for the CPX2. So I'll be doing a one take, open the package, clean it, put it on the pistol and fire it and see what happens video coming up. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, Rick. You want to plug anything before we go? Anything you want to say? Any shows you want to promote or any messages you want to get out there?
Anything that you do, maybe Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, check out Hit or Miss Tuesday nights, 9 o'clock. this next week, check out the Early Watch. It is making a return.
Ooh, what time?
No, not sure on the time yet. Probably either 10, 10:30, or 11, depending on what Jimmy does. But Jimmy will be returning for the Early Watch this next week.
Might see if I can join in on that one. I got a little bit of free time in the mornings now.
So
Nice.
and yeah, I'm also going to do this for Smeggy. Don't miss the Daily Gun Show every weekday at 7 Eastern.
Poco Ghibli podcast. What?
Yes. G Web's special own Poco Ghibli podcast.
Oh, well, thanks for doing that plug for me, because then that frees me up to use my plug to say, check
Uh-oh.
out yesterday's Every Second Matters.
Oh, that was
I think
awesome.
it's definitely, you guys are going to know this is shocking that someone like me would say this. It's one of my top 5s.
Ooh.
You know how much I hate lists,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
would put that on the list of top 5 Every Second Matters chats. We had Hash Tactical in there, and we had Brandon from the Firearm Policy Coalition, and I think it was a really good chat. Lots
It
of good
was-
information.
It was good. I got through about half of it, and I said, I got to get some sleep because I got to get up in the morning and get this going. So it was awesome. It was very good. You guys need to definitely check that out. Heck yeah. Tony, you want to get any plugs in real quick before we go?
Nope, nice try. I already plugged the Early Watch, so
There you go.
Yeah.
So you best to go there. You're going to be there for it then? You'll be there in the morning?
yeah.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, guys. Well, this was Caliber Corner number 4. I want to thank you for joining me today on our little discussion on optics. And I don't know if I'll have a show in the next 2 weeks. I've got a lot of stuff going on the weekends, a lot of family coming out, and a lot of things going on. So I'll try to host one if I can. But if not, we'll be back in a couple weeks. But I want to thank you guys for joining. Darren, Danimal, Car Carrier, AC97 Squib, Lynchpin, Smeggy. Oh, there you are, Smeggy. Sean's out there. All you guys that watch Melvin Nut, AC. Guys, I want to thank you for joining me, and panel, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. And this was Caliber Corner number 4. Thanks for watching.
Later.
Thanks for
Bye,
inviting me.
Felicia.
I was waiting for that.